Hi, I'm Tara Milo, your computer girl, and today is the third anniversary of your computer girl being in business officially. So I thought I'd tell you the story about how I started my business because it's actually a little different than what you might imagine. A lot of people have that story of being in corporate and they really hated it and they were stressed out all the time. And that is not my story. I actually really loved my job. I worked at the University of Akron. I did the website and social media and email marketing for the university. And I taught other people and other departments how to use the website. And I was always creating new pages and meeting new departments and working on all of these different areas at the university. It was so cool. One day I was in archaeology, and the next day I was in chemistry, and then maybe the next day I was at the career center. Like, it was always different, and it was really fun, and I loved it. My boss was great. We got along really well, and we inspired each other. It was so cool. So I was working there about 30 hours a week. I was part-time temporary, is what they called it. And I was so happy. I loved 30 hours. I work really fast, so I can do 40 hours worth of work in 30 hours because I'm really fast. And so I was just going gangbusters, like everything was great. And they really wanted me to work full time, 40 hours. And it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. It's just 10 extra hours, right? But to me, it was so much more than that. It was, control. It was like my life, and, I'm not going to have quiet time. I'm not going to have some of these things that were really important to me. And so they wanted me to go full time, and I was like, don't do it. I'm going to freak out and quit. I know myself. This is working. Let's just do this. And they said, no, we want you full time. So I did it. I applied. And I remember the day I was applying, my dog had a hot spot on her foot, and I was crying as I was submitting the application. And nobody really knows that, but it was really hard for me to apply for that job knowing how much I didn't want it. So I did it. It was fine. I would come home on my lunches. I would try to make up for some of that, control that I was losing in my life and some of that quiet time and personal self-care. I was trying to kind of make up for that stuff, but none of it was working. So I did that job for about a month, and actually a week into being full-time, I had an anxiety attack. I would just broke down, and I was shaking all the time. My mind couldn't settle down. Like, it was anxiety. It was awful. It was so stressful. And so I did that for about a month. And then I decided that I can't do it anymore. So in the meantime, I was studying at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, the online program. So I was studying at night. I was really connecting with my classmates and kind of doing that stuff. And I was working a little bit on the side because I noticed that some of my fellow health coaches weren't confident with computer stuff. And I was. So I offered to help them get some of their computer stuff done so they could get their business off the ground. Because I know how important this health coaching is. I was so passionate about it, and I wasn't really ready to go out on my own and start coaching, but I wanted to support my fellow coaches. So I started doing that on the side, kind of at night. And I didn't do it while I was at work, only at night. And it was great. I was earning a little bit of money, and I was like, if I just had 5 clients for this computer girl work that I was doing, that would sustain me. I could quit my job. And I called it your computer girl because one of my fellow coaches was like, oh, my computer girl does this. And I was like, oh, I want to be your computer girl. So that's how the name started, was I want to be your computer girl. And I want to be the one who supports you and helps you and, helps support your websites and your email marketing and your social media, just like what I was doing at the university. So for a while, I was just stressed out. I knew I had to quit So for about 2 months, I was crying all the time. It was awful. And I quit. And from then on, I've been kind of going back and forth, being computer girl, being a coach. But this is really what inspires me. It makes me feel happy and useful. And I actually do a lot of coaching in Computer Girl. It's funny how many things come up, how many blocks we have about sending a newsletter or just launching your website or putting yourself out into the world. There's a lot of coaching that goes into it, a lot of deep breaths. And it's kind of like the university where I'm working with somebody new every day and a different project every day, and I get to learn all these new things, and it's so cool. So it's really feeding my soul. But I just wanted to share on the 3rd anniversary how Computer Girl was born. It wasn't born out of, I hate my job, I have to get out of it. It was born out of, I love this so much, and I'm going to do it at home. I'm going to do it for people I believe in, and I'm going to decide who I get to work with, and I'm going to empower people to do this work that they are called to do in the world. And I'm going to do it in the way that feeds my soul and helps me feel good and inspired and all that good stuff. So thanks for letting me share. It's kind of a different story. I do get a little emotional and kind of triggered about it sometimes because I really did love my job. I was really proud of that work, but I get to do it now, and I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of us working together and making this stuff happen. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.